The influx of weird creeps for Necromunda continues week on week, and this time we've got some centipede looking lads with horrible faces. No, I'm not going to attempt to read the title of this article because I will not succeed in doing so you can read it to yourself out loud and then feel incredibly proud of yourselves for not messing it up. In fact, I'll leave a little pause just now. There you go, I bet that felt good, didn't it? I bet you nailed it. Well done. Anyway, we have more Beastmaster action, and this time they bring in Millisaurs. Now I have to admit the Beastmaster himself in this set isn't quite hitting the same spot as the last one we saw, mostly because just because you capture and train these doesn't mean you need to try and make yourself look as much like them as physically possible. I mean, that is a lad with terrible posture. Not only that, but I put it to you that having a big old brass canister full of whatever that's full of strapped to the back of your skull? Like, where is that connected? Like, does he have, like, a severe hunchback and is actually strapped to his back? Because at the moment, it's so high up, and I know he's kind of leaning forwards, but I don't know, that's a weird placement on that, and it looks a bit odd. His giant cattle prod looks okay, that looks fine. I mean, it kind of looks... The skin that he's wearing, it's fun, it's cool. I mean, it's the skin of a Millisaur, so obviously nice and thematic, and I like the way that it's been strapped to his arms, so it like acts as like almost a half sleeve, but not in the normal sense. There's some fun details on there. It's just not quite as... I don't know, it's just not doing it for me as much as some of the other things that they've shown off for Necromunda recently, you know? It's not that it's like shy on detail or looks disjointed or like looks as though it doesn't fit, it absolutely does, but there's just something about this particular Beastmaster that it isn't quite hitting the spot for me. The Millisaurs themselves though, I mean, they're great. A little bit of everything going on with these, let's be honest. They're a bit cute. They are a bit cute. I mean, the way that they seem to be rearing up, the little belly sticking out, like they're quite a cute little pose. But they also have horrific faces that are just rings of teeth with like saliva and acid dripping off them, and that's pretty gross, but I do like it. I like the little mandibles on either side of the gross teeth face. That's a nice touch. The fact that the chains to control them are just like hammered into the carapace, that's cool. That's a cool touch. I like that a lot. This is definitely a creature I feel like it wouldn't make much sense if they just had collars on due to the overall shape of them. It would look really janky and not at all reliable. Whereas actually just, you know, sticking some rivets or nails or whatever into the skin of it and then feeding the chains through, you're not going to lose them that way. They definitely aren't as just outright horrific as the Ripperjacks, but they are a bit cuter than the Ripperjacks. I'd suggest they still have menace, like they still have a bit of just a bit of a like threatening aura to them, but they're not as outright nightmare fuel as the Ripperjacks are. They still do look like they would mess you up, but there's definite hint of cute there. Also, and I realise this would be horrifically expensive and not at all feasible for a big project, but I could absolutely see some goblins riding these. Some little gobbos riding these lads. Absolutely first class. Okay, so now that I can see that he doesn't really have necessarily a hunched back, that it's just the kind of skin of a Millisaur he's wearing, that big canister definitely, it's just not doing it for me in that position. I think it's too high up. I think it's been done that way so that you can see it more clearly, so that it presents a certain silhouette. But I just think it's sitting too high on the dude's body. It just looks super unstable, and it looks like it could fall off at any moment. It also looks like it makes it actively more difficult to move in any way. Like, I don't know, I think there's been a bit too much effort made to be kind of quirky with that, whereas actually it could have done with being a bit lower down to clear up the model a bit. It would just look that much more, it would look more functional if it wasn't sat halfway across one shoulder at like the back of his neck, touching the back of his head, when he doesn't have like a massive pronounced hunchback or anything. It's just, I don't know, a bit of a weird modelling choice that I'm not feeling. I do like the little tail sticking out of the hatch. There's a little baby one in there. That is quite cool. That is quite cute. It's a nice little detail. All the kind of torn flesh at the edge of the skin that he's wearing, I like that a lot. There's some like nice little details there. I think it is just a sawn-off shotgun, isn't it? I think it is. Just sticking through his belt at the back, that's a nice touch. I'm definitely not liking the face as much as I have some of the more recent ones. It's just this particular guy, he's just not doing it for me. But then again, why even look at him when you can look at the proud little centipede beastie with his horrible face made of teeth and the rings that have been hammered into his carapace, covered in chains. I don't know, there's just something about this that I really like. I think that's the thing. It looks kind of proud of itself. It looks like a bit cute and a bit proud of itself, and also very dangerous. I don't know how they've managed to get that kind of mixture of things going on here, but I feel like they really have. Little detail there with like there being a break in the carapace on the front and it's been stapled together. That's cool. That's a nice touch. I like little details like that a lot. There you go, the latest additions to the Necromunda roster, which is growing by the week, and at this point, I swear half of Forge World's catalogue is just these individual characters for Necromunda, but I'm not complaining, because even when the lad himself isn't to your taste, the cheeky Millisaurs, they get the thumbs up. Question is, what do you think about these lads? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click if you like, don't click if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for all the games which you can use to support the channel if you'd like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.